Hey folks, it's Ascendant again, and welcome back to another quick guide. Today we'll be looking at a very popular place for training and upgrading your gear, the Nightmare Zone. In this video, we'll be going over what the Nightmare Zone is, and different strategies to help optimize the time you spend here. Throughout this video, please keep in mind that there are many paths to go down when attacking the Nightmare Zone, and there are many variations along said paths. Even when training here or going for points, my friend and I can't even agree on a certain boss list or certain ways to approach it with certain gear and stuff. So your mileage may vary. You'll really just have to take in all the information that you can from this video, the wiki, and wherever else, and try to formulate your best plan moving forward. Think of this as more of a guide, hence quick guide, as opposed to a definite set-in-stone rulebook. So what exactly is the Nightmare Zone? Located just outside the entrance to Yanille and run by my main man Dominic Onion, the Nightmare Zone was released on September 5th, 2013 as a way to let players fight and practice against bosses that they have already beaten from quests. The lore behind this is that Dominic Onion is selling you a potion that you can drink and will send you into a dream where you fight your bosses from your nightmares. Pretty much any boss that you fight during quests you can fight again here if they aren't available via other means, provided you have at least 5 of those bosses unlocked. One notable boss that is missing from the Nightmare Zone is Vorkath, as you can fight it easily on Ungale. On the surface, this may not appear to be super useful, but there are 2 important things that you can achieve here: points and easy training. I will elaborate on both of these points later, but let's first look at where it is and how to participate. Getting to the Nightmare Zone is really easy, assuming you have at least 5 bosses unlocked, which is the requirement anyway to use the Nightmare Zone. You can use the minigame teleport to get there immediately. If you have already recently used a minigame teleport and don't really want to wait, you can also teleport to the Watchtower or Yanille and head east, teleport to Castle Wars using a Ring of Dueling and head east, teleport to Fairy Ring CLS and head west, etc. You have a lot of options, and honestly, you're probably just better off killing 10 to 15 minutes of time doing something else and then teleporting using the minigame teleport. Do as you will. So to start a dream, you need to talk to Dominic Onion, unlock the coffer, and make sure you have some money in it. You'll probably want to grab some of your potions for the dream from these barrels, and then click on the dream potion to get to the menu to select your bosses if you're doing a rumble, and then you're good to go. There's a lot to unpack here, so I'm going to focus on what you need to know to get started. For the first trip, since you don't have any points to buy any of the benefits for the dreams, I recommend you start off in your best prayer gear with lots of prayer potions, a holy wrench if available, and selecting only bosses that use melee to attack. This way you can last a while without really needing to pay attention while using protect from melee, and really only need to click a few times every 5 minutes or so. My gear setup right now is a mixture of offensive gear and prayer gear, alongside the usual offensive melee gear such as the Abyssal Whip, Dragon Boots, and Fire Cape. I'm also using the Proselyte top and bottom to maximize my prayer bonus. Most of this gear is easy to obtain via either some low-level questing or activities, or are rather cheap compared to other options, such as the Amulet of Fury is about 14 mil cheaper than the Amulet of Torture. If you can't afford any of this gear, there are some options that are cheaper, and if you do have a lot more money, you do have some options to upgrade, such as buying the Amulet of Torture, Primordial Boots, Grazi Rapier, stuff like that. You also have a few options if you'd rather save on prayer potions and focus on prayer bonus entirely. If you would like, you can swap out the Amulet of Fury for a Dragonbone necklace for the extra 5 or 6 prayer bonus. You can also swap out the Helm of Nea Tiznod for a Proselyte helm for an extra prayer bonus. Swap out the Dragon Boots for Holy Sandals for an extra +3 prayer. And there are a few other options, but in my opinion, most of these prayer gear options don't really make sense, as you are here to train, and using like 5 or 6 prayer potions really isn't going to cost a whole lot. Inventory wise, I have a few super combat potions, a bunch of prayer potions, and a holy wrench. The super combats are not required, but they are there to speed up the points and experience for this first run, and I would highly recommend them. So yeah, let's get going. Speak to Dominic Onion about a dream and select customizable rumble. You'll want to go with the normal option for now, but the hard mode I have found is a little better for training and a lot better for earning points. After you've agreed to pay Dominic for the dream, you can head over to the coffer and deposit some money. This is where the money comes from when you go into the dream. Unless you're strapped for cash, I would just dump as much as you can in here for later. A normal rumble mode dream costs 22,000 GP, and a hard mode costs 26,000, so drop at least that much into the coffer. Now head over to this little pedestal thing and click on the potion. Since we're doing a customizable rumble, we can pick and choose the bosses to fight. The wiki has a nice strategy guide for which bosses to pick, depending on which quests you have done, but the group of 5 bosses I would start with are the Sand Snake, Count Draenor, King Roald, the Kendall, and me. There are other options you can select if you don't have those unlocked, or would like to go with some more bosses, but these 5 have the lowest defense levels that only attack with melee, and don't have any weird mechanics like teleporting you around or anything. After you have selected your bosses, click OK and start the dream. From here, I typically stand in the middle. I can't find any definitive reasoning to stand elsewhere unless you have one of the bosses that knocks you back, such as one of the troll bosses, but for now just go in the middle. When you're ready, use the Super Combat Potion, enable Auto Retaliate, and start praying Protect for melee. Assuming you did this correctly, the bosses will now attack you 4 at a time, and you can just sit back and watch your prayer. There really isn't a set goal for points here, so you can stay as long as you want to train for, or go for more points. But after you have, say, like 100,000 or 200,000 points, you can leave the dream. If I could divert your attention away for a moment, I would like to run through a quick shameless plug. If you guys haven't done so already, please consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so you can keep up to date with my latest videos. I put a lot of time and effort into these videos, and I would really appreciate it if you guys would show your support by hitting the subscribe button and hitting the like button. And that's it. I told you it was going to be quick, so let's get back to the video. Okay, so we're a little bit into this session, and I know I'm on the balanced attack style, but according to RuneLite, I'm getting about 75k experience per hour in one combat skill, and 25k experience per hour in hit points, which isn't too bad. That's a bit of a step up from sand crabs. But on the flip side of things, we are only getting 36k points per hour, which really isn't that good. So I'm actually going to leave the session right now and go back in with the hard session and see how that differs. Okay, so for starting a hard mode dream, you pretty much go through the same process. Select Rumble, then do Customizable Rumble Hard. Make sure you have money in the coffer, and go back in using the Dream Potion. I'm going to use the same 5 bosses again, and see how this works out. Again, this is the same process as before, and wow, this is actually looking a lot more promising even only after 1 kill. So, yeah, this will be fun. So yeah, this is looking a lot better. A little ways later, I'm getting about 99k experience in 1 combat skill, 33k experience per hour in hit points, and a whopping 231k points per hour. Keep in mind that hard mode, the only differences are the offensive stats for the monsters increase a lot, which includes like the attack, magic attack, damage, all that kind of stuff, and hit points. So you're spending less time waiting on monsters to respawn and come back. But the defense levels stay the same, so if anything, your experience per hour is only going to go up with hard mode. It really should not go down. I ended up getting a little carried away with this, and went for close to 400k points in this dream, but I'm going to let my prayer run out now and let myself die to get out of the dream. And yeah, I would highly recommend doing hard mode if you can. So now that you are done with the first dream, let's head over to the rewards chest, go to the benefits tab, and now purchase some overload potions and absorption potions. You purchase the potions per dose, not per vial, and depending on your defense level and armor, you'll need about 2 to 3 times as many absorption doses as you do overload. For training from now on, you'll want to maximize your offensive bonus, since any damage you now take will be absorbed by the absorption potions. This is also where a lot of people will whip out the full Darox, rock cake their HP down to 1, and run forever, since the full Darox set effect gives an extra 1% damage for every hit point missing. There is some debate on when you should whip out the Darox set, because if you don't have a high level HP, the Darox set effect doesn't have as much of an effect as it does at higher levels. From what I can see and tell, if you have around 80 or 85 hit points, you should use Darox, and if you have lower HP, then you can just use the Obsidian set or something else that maximizes your DPS. For the lower HP setup, I would go with the same gear as the prayer focused setup, except I would swap out the body and legs for Bando's chestplate and tassets, or whatever your best offensive gear is that you can muster. Either way, the absorption potion tactic that I'll go over in a moment will be the same. So now you do the same thing by offering to pay for a dream, make sure you have money in the coffer, and then head over to these barrels and grab some overload potions. Let's go with 32 doses for now, and then fill the rest of your inventory with absorption. Now we can enter the dream the same way as before. Now that you're here, you'll want to quickly guzzle and eat the rock cake down to 51 health, and then drink an overload dose, as that will take you down to 1 HP. Then max out your absorption potion by drinking to 1000 points, and then go over to your prayer tab. Quickly flicking the rapid heal prayer will reset your health regeneration timer, and you can do this about every 55 seconds or so to keep yourself at 1 HP. The reason we want ourselves at 1 HP is twofold. Firstly, it maximizes the Darok set effect like I mentioned earlier, granting 1% extra damage bonus for every missing HP. And 2, it minimizes the damage that the monsters can deal to you. The way the combat system works, the monster's max hit is limited to the amount of HP you have left, so if you're sitting at 1 HP, they can only deal up to 1 damage to your absorption points. Now that you're here, you may also want to consider bringing Dragon Claws or a Granite Maul as a spec weapon to increase your DPS. I don't bring them, as using them requires a bit more attention, and when I'm here I really want this to be as AFK as possible, but if you want higher XP rates, then definitely bring the Claws or Maul. At this point, you're golden as long as you keep your tabs on your health regen every minute, and repot up when your overload potion runs out after 5 minutes. So right now the rates I'm looking at are 109k experience per hour for defense, 36k per hour for hit points, and about 245k reward points per hour. And honestly, that's not bad. The points per hour will go up a lot more if you add some more bosses. So yeah, this is not looking bad at all. I'm going to bail now since I don't need to be here, but you can stay as long as you want from here on out. So now that we're done looking at the training methods, why don't we go ahead and look at the rewards that you can get from the Nightmare Zone. With all the points that you earn in the dreams, you can purchase resources, gear upgrades, which are also known as imbues, and benefits that are used inside the dreams. The resources available to purchase are not too useful unless you have extra points to throw around from training here, so I won't focus on them too much. I also won't touch on the benefits too much, as they're pretty self-explanatory and are only really useful inside the dreams. The most important thing from the rewards chest are the gear upgrades, and they are the primary goal for most people here. These will cost you a lot of points, but some of the upgrade effects are extremely useful. For example, for the Slayer helmets, the imbue applies the same damage bonus that you get for melee on a Slayer task, also to ranged and magic. The imbues for the Remnant rings and the Ring of Suffering have their effectiveness doubled. The Salve Amulet imbued has its damage bonus to undead monsters, also applied to range and mage. And the Ring of the Gods, combined with the Holy Wrench, has a +4 prayer bonus, and has a Holy Wrench's effect. So where does all this leave us? Obviously, if you want the gear upgrades, and I would highly recommend at least getting the Slayer helmet, Salve Amulet, and the ring upgrades, as they're extremely useful in a lot of places, then obviously you will need to get at least some points in the Nightmare Zone. Otherwise, if you're okay with it being a little boring, this does provide a really easy and AFK way to train your combat stats. I know I only went over melee in this video, but the same context can be applied to range and magic. So this definitely gets my seal of approval. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this video, and time for an important announcement. Over the last week or so, I've put in a lot of work, and I actually set up a Discord server. Right now there aren't a whole lot of people on it, but I'm hoping to kind of build a nice community where people can talk and share experiences with the game, and really just have fun and organize events. You can find the link to the Discord server in the video description. But anyways, if you liked or disliked the video, you know what to do. Feel free to leave me feedback or suggestions in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to keep up with my latest videos, and I will catch you in the next one.